Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. I've got Chris Stark and Stephen Sidwell with me as usual. Chris, you look like you're on OnlyFans at a minute. It's still like, I don't know if you look like you're on OnlyFans or it's like Babe Station or something. Obviously, it's a bit of a remote record today. It's that one. Just call me. Call me.
Please call me. It's a nightmare. So basically, this podcast can be a mess, by the way, because basically a little later on, it's going to cut to something we recorded because we've had to be all about it because Crouchy's various side quests and trips and whatever it is. So anyway, I've just come back from Center Parcs to jump on for this first bit of the record, but I forgot we're getting work done in my house, right? So the room where I've got the stuff in, I've had to go full Yoko Ono. I'm just lying on the floor here. Like, it's pathetic with a camera in front of me. The only way I can be comfortable is getting off my knees and sort of adopting when David Brent's having his photo taken, and he poses in different. That's going to be me throughout this because I can't stay in one position too long because the knees have gone. So it's all in all just an absolute nightmare here. But you did insist on recording this now, so we'll have to run with it.
Love it. Babe Station is tickled me.
The only reason we don't record it, obviously, we recorded a fantastic episode about the evolution of football. We did that just before we come away. But obviously, with the Friday pod, as we like to call it, or the league that we have going, we have to wait till the results kind of Saturday and Sunday to see what happens to talk about the following week, and obviously then get the predictions in our heads so the league matters.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So look, we'll crack on because it's been an unbelievable weekend for me anyway. I've got 3 points at a time where I desperately needed them. But even sweeter than that was the manner in which they were won. Taking them from you there, Crouchy. It was 1-1 into the dying embers of the game. 90th minute, 2-1, bosh.
This is what genuinely ruined my trip. I'll be honest with you. I'm in Universal in Florida, Orlando, Florida at the moment. Universal looking after. It's been a lovely trip. The kids are having the time of their lives. And then the news filters through that it's 1-1. The game's 1-1 in the 90th minute. So I go and get myself on the Hagrid ride. Having the time of my life. I get off the Hagrid ride, get my little boy out the sidecar, and find out it's 2-1, and the 3 points go to Chris. Never been so sick.
Well, the whole thing was a bit of a shambles because originally when we done this fixture, Fulham was on our sheet to be at home, wasn't they? And Newcastle was away, I believe. So. So the lads in production, we got messages. I don't know whether you got DM'd, but I got a few messages to let them know that. Talking of a few messages, lads, just a quick one. I don't know whether you see my post on social the other day. I'm doing a thing for Football Escapes next summer, a coaching camp that obviously Crouchy you do as well. And underneath,
I've seen this. Hang on. Hang on. Have you seen this, Crouchy?
No, I haven't seen this, right? So just
I might have to pick this up from you here, Steve, because I was a few beers in that bar in Center Parcs, right? And I've been tagged in this picture multiple times. And it's Steve Sidwell announcing he's doing football escapes or whatever it's called. And are you talking about the dates underneath it?
Yeah.
So this flashed up on my phone, and honestly, Crouchy, it's going to sound really dark. So I'm really pleased that Sids has brought it up because it means we can talk about it. I honestly thought Sids had died for a minute because It came up like an in memoriam post in the same font. You got to show him, Sids.
Yeah, so I've got you. Yeah, so it's just like Peter Crouch 1981 to 2060,
exactly that.
Hopefully.
Boys, honestly. On the amount of messages I got, fuck me, Sids. I thought you was dead because people were reading it at 4 a.m. when they're getting in, or 7 a.m. when they're waking up with their kids, and when I open, they was like, Oh, honestly, I have had hundreds and hundreds of messages. The glad to see the bonfire still burning, and glad to see you're still alive.
The bonfire's still burning.
Sid, show him the one. Show him the announcement. It's brilliant.
That was basically.
He was a great man. He was a great man, Steve. He gave us so much joy.
It was the smiley face on it that did me as well.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic.
There we go.
There was an air of that, you know, where Ian Wright meets his old teacher. It's like, just shocked. I thought he was dead. There really was an air of that to it.
Do you know what? There's quite a bit actually went on. I don't know if you saw the fourth official at the Brentford Liverpool match. Got the call up. Just feel like fourths are coming to the fore at the minute. No pun intended. So really pleased for him. I think it was Simon Hooper who got a run out. And also, I don't know if you saw this, Leighton Orient, the steward as well, getting a lot of love.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the steward's got a pair of white boots on. All the crowd are singing. He's got them for his birthday. And sign him up. When I don't know if you chat the ball. Sign him up.
It's great. Some of the chants. I heard the chant "Steward" as well. They were calling him the Steward.
Steward. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I just love it.
All because he's worn white boots. Like a poor bastard.
They look box fresh as well, by the way. The box fresh. They was clean.
Oh, they do. Oh,
you know, with the fourth official coming on for the ref, there some big calls as well. I think at one point, it was the substitution ref who made the call for the time wasting from the goalie as well. And Liverpool got awarded a corner. Firstly, I wasn't aware that was the punishment for time wasting from the goalie. Didn't know that. So I guess my first question would be, do you think that's the right punishment for that crime? Because it feels a bit random. It goes from that to a corner. And the other question I suppose I want to ask is, it really isn't enforced enough, that, is it, goalie time wasting? Do you think we'll see a bit more of that this season?
Yeah, I think that the fact that it's given a corner is because it feels like that indirect free kick you could potentially score from, and it feels a bit harsh. Whereas I think, I know you can score from a corner, but it's a little bit harder. It kind of matches the crime, I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, if I steal a couple of penny sweets, I wouldn't expect to get 2 years in prison. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I steal a couple of penny sweets, it's a little bit of maybe a fine.
Yeah, you've actually ruined corners for me. Ever since you said on the podcast that we all stand up for corners in the stand, right? And I love that noise of all the chairs going. There's anticipation. But then you ruined it by saying how few goals are scored from corners. And ever since then, I've refused to stand up.
But obviously, we're going to talk about the evolution of football today, and obviously set pieces, long throw-ins are becoming a huge factor now, and of course we stand up. But I do look round. Certainly, back when I played, I looked round at the fans of different football clubs of different nations, and I wouldn't change this for the world. But I genuinely believe that we are the only crowd to get so excited by a corner, like genuinely excited to the point where the whole crowd stand up. Right? We have players now. Players have started doing this. Have you seen this one now? They're all doing. All the players are raising their hands in the air, going like that. Right when they get a corner. Also, the other one I've noticed as well is in Spain. All the handkerchiefs come out if a defender smashes the ball into the crowd, like while he's defending. The white handkerchiefs are out and said, like, come on, you could have played there. You could have got past him and set up an attack with some passing. Whereas if someone slides one out, they've got no one near them, the ball's bouncing, they lash one out of play and then riles the crowd up like that. I feel like we're the only nation in the world where they go, fucking come on.
True.
Let's have it.
True. There's certain British things we do that I don't think we realise the rest of the world aren't really doing. Why do we get so wet for corners, Steve? I get wet at a corner kick.
Oh, look, especially more so this.
Why do we do it?
Well, because it's the best chance that you see. How many players are in the box in the end? There must be 22 players on the pitch. There must be at least 18 of them, 17, 18 of them in the box. More so, there's about 15 of them in the 6-yard box. I think everyone just loves the chaos. Mate, it's massive. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, I think it's good for entertainment. I think it's good. I like it.
I remember. I think there was one game at Chelsea. It was Chelsea Old Trafford.
He's gone. He's gone. He's had to change. Have a look.
Sorry, I'm just going to have to change positions. Give me one sec.
I just feel like someone's just given him a call and gone, Chris, can you get on all fours?
I'm going to have to do all fours for the next 2 or 3 minutes, Harry.
Since you can't go on.
Carry on. Carry on the conversation. Yeah. Corner kicks.
Sorry.
For the audio listener, I think we've all, Chris has gone on fours because his knees are hurting, and me and Sid have joined him in solidarity in the babe station pose.
Why don't we do the next bit? All in the same position, just switch every 4 or 5 minutes. It's only uncomfortable, that's the thing. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, fucking hell.
Ignore
I
me.
don't even know where we were. Should we get to the games? Let's do it.
It's just distracting. I'll move.
It's slightly distracting. It's just an all fours. I'm not sure I can cope with that. So basically, I'm on 17 points here. You stole those 3 points off me. Disgusting. Chris has put him on 20 and Sid is on 22. I'm absolutely disgusted, to be quite honest. Sunderland. I mean, the table at the moment. I had it up a minute ago. I couldn't quite believe it. Obviously, Arsenal are flying. They've gone to 22 points out on their own, really. And all the closest contenders. You think of City, of Liverpool, are struggling of late.
Boys, so I done Sunderland, Chelsea, Crouchy, and Chris on the weekend, and honestly, Sunderland were absolutely brilliant. I don't know if you've watched them this season or if you've covered one of their games. They deserved the win. I got to say, they were absolutely brilliant. Defensively, superb. Going forward. And I've got to give a shout out to our man Xhaka, because he was near enough man of the match. Honestly, I thought he was just going to go there for maybe a little payday, a little swan song. Mate, he's taking it above and beyond to lead that team, and they are well and truly safe for me. Well and truly safe. They could be. They keep going. They got a chance of Europe. I'm not even giving that a light shout out as well.
Do you know what was so profound? Like, that interview looks so profound now. Do you know what I mean? Like, Stadium of Light, fire. Teammates, unity.
True.
There was just phenomenal sound bites. Like, if they get into Europe, we'll look back at that as like one of Cantona's seagulls in the trawler.
Yep.
That'd be wild if they get that. The league is I mean, there's obviously everything that's happening with Liverpool at the moment as well. Just the league is mad at the moment.
Yeah, so like, I look at now, right? Arsenal, Bournemouth are in second, Spurs are in third, Sunderland fourth, Manchester United are above Liverpool now, which is insane. Chelsea are down in ninth. You know, like Forest, who were flying last season, are down in 18th.
Wind in the sails with United as well. I actually, I was in that Center Parcs bar. You know, I don't know if you boys have been there. I assume you have. It's brilliant in there. Drink selection, tiny bit pony, but the bar itself, good atmosphere. Big screen, and I just thought it was so exciting watching United play again. And now they've got this streak. I mean, have you heard the story about the lad who's going to cut his hair when they get 5 in a row as well?
Yeah.
Really? No.
A great story. He's waited a long time. When United win 5 in a row, he's gonna cut his hair. I don't know whether that's. Have you not seen this, Crouchy?
Has he grown it really long? I mean,
yeah.
Listen, look, I mean, when me and Sids were playing, you do the 5 titles in a row. Fucking cut your hair. That's the kind of levels we were at. Now,
mate, I'm going to show you.
You. He looks like Fellaini.
This is where he's up to. Look, this is where he's up to.
Christ almighty. Wowza. He looks like the Scouser from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
But look what it was before.
Buddy,
there's a ghost presence of his old head. Look at him there.
That's
how long it's been.
Wow.
Yeah, but everyone's getting involved in this. Luke, I saw Luke Littler put up something on his Instagram over the weekend. All eyes on this guy's barnet, I don't know what we do. I don't know whether we shave ourselves in solidarity or what we want to commit to as a podcast here. But it does feel like when he gets his hair cut, it's going to be a huge moment. I'd love us to be there for it.
Okay, this next part of the podcast is supported by Paddy Powers, the big weekend fixture. It's Tottenham versus Chelsea. Tottenham are 13-8, 10 against your 26 back. Chelsea are 6-4, so slight favourites, Chelsea, even though Tottenham had a fantastic result last week. And Chelsea not so good, obviously, at home. So interesting one. Spurs are in top 4 at the moment. Must be pleased with how it's gone. Bad loss at Villa, but picked up again this week. I need a serious bluey. I might actually take 2 blueys for this one, so I'm going to be taking this really seriously. Where are we seeing it, boys?
Okay, Sids, I don't know if you've got thoughts, but I could do a couple of shout-outs. So got this up on Instagram about 10 minutes ago. Matt Cherry says, regards to your family, lads. He's got a prediction now. He's saying Tottenham will win. Oliver Drew Dare, Charlie Ryder, Edward Daffin, James Cripwell. That's a good name. Matt Chubb. I'm drawn to Chubb.
Yep. What's the Chubbs saying?
Hey, there's another guy here, Dale Spud Harrison. What a name. He says, afternoon regards to the boys and your family. Spurs 2, Chelsea 2. Yeah, I'm drawn to that,
I think there is going to be goals, lads.
Are you
going to go for the 2-2, Chris?
I'll have the Desmond. What are you boys saying?
Okay, I'm going to lean towards Tottenham on this one. I'm going to go for a Tottenham 2-1 win.
I can't. What is he doing in that corner?
It looked like reverse cowgirl.
I was going to try and give it a bit of this, just to try and because my back is killing.
He's gone for the babe station of all time.
He's gone for the reverse twerk. I can't believe it. What am I seeing?
Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see.
Looks like fucking Nicki Minaj. Like Nicki Minaj.
Just ignore my camera.
Okay, I'm going to cover his camera up. I can't see this. This is distracting me.
You might have to go on.
Okay.
No visual.
I don't know. My back's killing. I've got to do something.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a Chelsea win on this one. All right, I'm gonna go for Chelsea 2-1. Chelsea 2-1 for me.
Okay, let's go for Chelsea 2-1. All right, let's move on. Let's go for Chelsea 2-1. Ah, fantastic. All right, well, that's good. We got the Paddy's Boost, lads. Yeah, where we pick a leg of the Crouch pod bet builder. The odds on the bet builder are then boosted by 20% and put on a special section of Paddy Power's website and app. I'm going to go first to score. I'm going to go with João Pedro to score first.
Okay, good shout. I will go for a player to have 2 or more shots. I will go for Mohamed Kudus. Look at this. What are we dealing with here? Look, what is this character doing?
Sure, it's phenomenal.
Okay, I'm going to go player to be carded, Reece James.
Love it.
Okay, lovely. Odds are correct at the time of recording. Please gamble responsibly. Moving swiftly on to Forest versus Manchester United. Great start from Sean Dyche at Forest, and certainly in Europe, massive moment for him. But I just feel like he got beat by a really good side at the moment, Bournemouth. It will be interesting to see how they do in the Premier League because they've obviously struggled this season. With regards to Manchester United, we touched on them before. Big fan of the front three. I think Cunha is such a good player, and Bremo, class act. So I feel like Bruno Fernandes is definitely enjoying playing. Certainly with those two players, Ahmad as well, involved now. And I just feel like it's lifted kind of everyone. It does feel like there feels like there is a resurgence there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in their groove, aren't they? A little bit. I think that was a massive win for them against Brighton at home because I think at home they've been coming under fire a lot. So I think that one to get that sort of monkey off their back was a big scalp for them because they've been beaten by Brighton at home quite a lot in the previous season. So I think that's got to give them confidence going to Forest, where there's new beginnings there, and I don't fear for them, Forest, at all, because I think Sean Dyche is the man that will steady the ship and get them going, but I can't see anything past the Man United win on this one. I've backed Man United a couple of times. They've let me down this season, but I'm going to go for them again. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Man United away win.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a bit bold. It's a bit bold, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for 3-1.
Yeah, slightly Steve, isn't it? I imagine you'll go. I imagine you fancy 2-1 then now, Chris, don't you?
Well, look, I'm going to go. Full transparency here. If you want to talk it out, I wanted 3-1. I would naturally be drawn to missionary at this point. But Crouchy, you choose what you're wanting first, and then I will adapt from there.
No, I'm happy. You go with 2-1. I'll just go with 1-0 Manchester United then. I think Dyche will keep it tight. No, I do think he will. So I'm not too disappointed with 1-0.
If you ever want to see these scores, by the way, we put them up on the Instagram, and some of the comments are great. So if you go to that Peter Crouch podcast, if you're not following that already, go find it on Instagram because it's well worth doing. Someone has described the amount of times I go missionary on this now as Christianry, and I think that's a great. I just think that's a great word.
I did see
Ryan. I spotted wrote that in the comments there.
Christianry.
Christianry, nice. You do have to vary it sometimes, If you do missionary like a lot, I don't know, it does feel like you do need to venture out.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
No, I hear you. I do hear you.
It's advice, isn't it? It's like
variety is spice of life.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, everyone, just have a word with yourself. Are you going too missionary in everything at the moment? Do you need to switch it up? Mm-hmm. It's quite profound. Sometimes when you talk, Crouchy, you say things that on the face of it are not profound at all. But then I sometimes find myself thinking about them going, God, that's like an unbelievable metaphor for life, that. You're like an alternative life coach. I saw one on TV the other day, and it was the kind of thing that you would say. What was it? And it wasn't meant to be deep, but then I suddenly thought, God, if you apply that to life, it's incredible. Let me get this right. It says, you only need to have one wipe to realise you're going to need 27 more. But it will always take... But it will take 2 wipes to realise you only needed 1.
Shit. For me, that is profound. That's straight away. Like that's not a slow burner for me. That feels that's really hit home.
What that's saying, if you're going to take that with you throughout your day, is, trust your instinct. Sometimes you don't need that second wipe. Trust your gut. Trust the situation that's in front of you. It will all work out.
Yeah, and obviously you don't have to work. You don't have to work more than you need to achieve the same goal.
Sid?
There's not much more I can tag on to that. I think you've both eloquently put it so well. So well.
I think that could be your homework, Sids, for next week.
Yeah.
Come back with a quote for us.
Okay, Brighton Leeds.
Big game this. Big game for both.
Yeah, big game. It is a big game. What are we saying, lads? Because I do like watching Leeds. It's always entertaining.
Yeah. And I think them games as well do suit Brighton, the ones that are open up. I think they find it hard to break teams down. I don't think Leeds will do that. I think Leeds only know one way to play, and that's just on the front foot, stretch the game, get out teams. So I think this could be goals galore. This one, but it's not my go to go first. Crouchy, I think you're due to go for a look at this Buddha.
He's gone for the Erling Haaland celebration, no?
Just ignore it. At this point, it's a distraction.
Yeah, I thought Brighton was slightly unlucky against United. United scored at the right times. I still think they played well, certainly offensively. They scored a lot of goals recently, haven't they, Brighton? I think there'll be goals in this one. I do fancy Brighton to win the game. Danny Welbeck's having a nice renaissance, isn't he? I saw him and Milner on the same pitch again to see the old boys alive and well. I'm going to go with Brighton 3-1.
Oh, good. I can't go missionary. I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. So I'm going to go. Did you say 3-1 or 3-0?
3-1.
I'm going to go 3-0 then.
Okay, I'm not going to go missionary. I'm going to go Brighton 2-0. They're going to dog it out. Bit of doggy.
Destiny Udogi.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Okay, well that concludes the league for this week. Should we get into the podcast?
Yeah,
let's do it.
This part of the podcast is sponsored by Huel. Huel Light, ready to drink. Listen, when I'm out here, me and Sophia especially, we're up, we're out, we're at it. We haven't really got time for breakfast, so we'll have a little bit of this, the Huel Light banana vibe. It's packed full of 20 grams of protein, 6 grams of fibre and all the vitamins and minerals that you need. I'll tell you why we do it. It's a meal in a bottle. It's packed for 25 grams full of protein, 6 grams of fibre, all the vitamins and minerals you need to start the day. Huel has already sold 500 million meals worldwide. It's your turn to try it. You've got 30% off with my exclusive code, which is Crouch30 at Huel.com. Please check the description for terms and conditions. Unlock a lighter, easier way to fuel your day with Huel Light so you can focus on what really matters. Jason Huel, or Huel Fox if you like. Beautiful. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp. October the 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year BetterHelp is shining a spotlight on therapists, the people that literally make it the world a better place. Yeah, even if you haven't had therapy, right, it's obvious to us that you need to, if you are struggling, to speak to someone. Definitely halves the problem, right?
I love that this conversation is much more normalised now.
Yeah.
Because it can feel hard and weird talking to a stranger or talking to someone random. And I guess from personal experience, it's something that kind of I wasn't really sure how to go about it, but I ended up starting to see a therapist. And actually, for me, it did me a lot of good. And, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's much more normalised and totally fine thing to go do in a way that perhaps I didn't realise maybe a couple of years ago.
I totally agree, and I think where we come from especially in our industry, it's quite a taboo subject and shows weakness. It's definitely not the case now. And I had a couple of sessions when I finished, actually, because in that retirement stage and you don't know what direction you want to go and a little bit lost, to just try and sort of refocus and kind of see where where I sort of place myself, really, because you've done something for so long from a kid to when you retire. That's a big part of your career and your life, and it's gone. It's then a case of, right, what's next? And yeah, it was good to actually speak to someone, and much more now that you feel comfortable to have chats just like this.
So big up the therapist, Crouchy.
Big up, right? The right therapist can change everything, and BetterHelp has 12 years plus experience matching people to the right one. A short questionnaire identifies your needs. It's not a good fit. You can switch therapists at any time. BetterHelp therapists follow a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified in the UK with 30,000 plus therapists worldwide. It's the largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people. It works to live sessions averaging 4.9 to 5 from 1.7 million client reviews, believe it or not. This is World Mental Health Day. We're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/crouch. That's betterhelp.com/crouch. Right, lads, on this week's pod, it was something James Tarkowski said last week, actually. He was talking about the kind of the forever changing evolution of football, really. You know, like this season especially, it feels like we've had more long balls than ever before, more direct play than ever before. You know, certainly more long throw-ins than ever before. It's been the talk of kind of the Premier League this season. Whereas last year it felt like we were just people were getting passed to death. It's amazing how things change and evolve, really. I mean, Sid, right back at the start of your career, like how was it coming through as a young player? Was the emphasis on ball retention or getting the ball forward early? Like, how was it for you when you were coming through the system?
Well, I think exactly the same as you. I think for definitely our youth team days, but then more so when we started out as professionals. And Chris, you would have seen this as well, watching Watford. Everyone was 4-4-2, wasn't they? Everyone was 4-4-2, and then you occasionally may have played in Europe, and then teams would dominate sort of the ball, and they might play a 3 in midfield as well, with a different kind of formation. You'd always come away from them sort of European games going, oh wow, but you know that's how different is that. But everyone was very much right. We'll go long, we'll go direct. We've got 2 strikers up. It was always up, get on the second balls, get the ball wide, crosses up, back through, crosses, get in the box, try and get a goal. So that was literally everyone's kind of style of play, and then everyone then started. Again, this was the top coaches that was coming in, changing it and having different tactical analysis and looking at games different. And then everyone started to play this ticky-tacky football. And then now it's gone the other way again. I'm just literally, as you said there, the long throws are back, more long direct passes. And this probably correlates with the game against the Liverpool Man United game. Arne Slot come out and said that Man United are a long ball team. We couldn't score today because they was a defensive block and they're a long ball team. So I'm just waiting for it now for someone just to go two up top again. And then, then it is literally a whole new revival. But I think it's great. No, as a neutral, I'm loving it now. It's throwing chaos into games. It's throwing different. Van Dijk is he looks like a bit of a different player because people are adjusting to it. So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, I think it goes right back to. I remember was it John Childs kind of was kind of in charge of tactics of the FA. He was seen as very progressive, like back in the day, and when you look at it, it very much set the tone for English football in general, really. I remember reading a book about John Childs and his ideas and his ideology on football, and it's very much like the position of maximum opportunity. Mm-hmm. It was very much about getting the ball in the box. He was kind of ahead of his time in some ways, but then very behind the times in others. If you look at the way football's certainly played now, playing out from the back and passing techniques, like his philosophy was the stats don't lie that the most goals are scored within 2 or 3 passes. If you get the ball into the box, you have obviously more chance of scoring. That's where the kind of long throw comes in. Defenders were very much in a 4. The fullbacks didn't get forward. They were very much like, we stop what's coming. The midfield was often bypassed, kind of non-existent, and I think that's where kind of the box-to-box midfielder comes from, because defensively you're on one box, the long ball goes forward. If you've got a good engine, you can get out with the big centre forward. Crosses coming into the box, and if you think about English football, that was the DNA. That was literally the DNA. Certainly from like the Wimbledon days, very, very direct football. But I think even the English national team really, was a direct approach. Of course, you had talented players, but if you think about the people, the managers at that time who were successful or who were around the England squad, Howard Wilkinson, certainly with the 21s, I played under him, really, really direct. Graham Taylor around that time was very, very direct. And obviously Guardiola, I think, probably came to this country, and certainly other managers, progressive managers before that. I remember Glenn Hoddle at Chelsea. He was playing with a sweeper and he was trying to play out from the back. And I remember him bringing in Ruud Gullit, and he got Ruud Gullit to do it. And I spoke to Glenn about this recently, and he was like, well, we tried to get Ruud to do it, but he had one split. And he said, in all honesty, that the other defenders I had were, Frank Sinclair, Erland Johnson, kind of Michael Dewberry. And I said, I'm asking Ruud to go out and kind of play out from the back, but he didn't really have anyone to kind of bounce it off or play with, So then it becomes, right, well, you have to kind of revert to this long ball tactic, get this game. But, I think we've proven that a mixture of it or a blend of this is the best football you can play, in my opinion.
When you say the changing face of football, and you mentioned Pep there, what leads that change, do you think? And is it the case really that the so-called bigger teams in the league, or the team that was most successful the season before, have the biggest influence on the rest of the teams in that league? I.e., when Pep comes in and City start sort of adopting this relatively new system in terms of the Premier League, does that then force other teams to kind of take it on?
I just think like with everyone kind of evolves with whoever the best team is out there. Do you know, like when Spain and Barcelona were playing almost like with the false nine and the way they were passing the ball, it was absolutely incredible. But then I watched it filter down. That was a good thing. But my frustration comes from when I'm watching players who can't play, who aren't good enough to pass the ball, passing the ball out and making mistakes and conceding goals. That's for me, that's stupidity. If I'm playing with a player who's useless on the ball, I'll pass it to him, and he's trying to do a Cruyff turn, and that's not his skill set. His skill set is to stop and defend. And I think you need to get the right personnel to do that, and that was my frustration, certainly with a lot of Southampton's play last year, and I see it everywhere, and it is getting better because I think it's waking up to the fact that you are allowed to mix it up. You can go long at times. If people are pressing you can go over the press and play from there. There's nothing wrong with that.
But that's tricky. That's tricky on some teams, Crouchy. That's tricky on some teams that say the personnel can't get brought in as easily. So if you've got a system and you're recruiting to a certain system and a way of filling those positions, you almost need, to a certain extent, let's take a sort of lower league team or a championship team that are trying to play a certain way, and new managers come in, they're trying to play a certain way, they're playing out from the back, but they've got defenders that aren't capable of doing it, and it's an infuriating watch. And there's so many football fans who'll be listening to this right now who can relate to this situation. You are having to change the type of player that you have playing in your team, right? And for a lot of teams, that's obviously a lot more tricky time-wise to do. That by the time you've switched up your team again, the trend is to play a different way of football. And so just some of these teams kind of get caught in the middle by trying to play in a certain way and keep with a certain, I don't know if it could even be described as a trend, but a way of playing football that a lot of teams are playing football with, rather than just doubling down on what they do and waiting for it to become effective again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. You look at clubs like Swansea, for instance, they had a DNA of like, we're gonna just pass teams to death, right? Possession based. So you can go back to like Brendan Rodgers was there, was he? Graham Potter was there. Martinez was there. It was all like,
Martinez.
yeah, Martinez, yeah. It was all like managers that fitted the club's model. Whereas I think now with football, it has gone so heavily stats based, right? That's why, like Brentford have been doing long throws all of last season as well. Like they was launching balls in the box. But I think now clubs are looking at everyone's stats and everyone's goals, going, right, there's from long throws now, you've got a 60% chance of scoring. So why don't we do it? Why? And I think players and like you got the analysis guys, they're taking that now to the managers in the meetings saying, look, we should try this. You know, if we've got a 60% chance of scoring a goal from a long throw, why are we not doing that? Why are we going to be the ones that just go short to then keep the ball and play? So that's why I think now more clubs are doing it, because there's the numbers literally back it up.
Yeah. Did it used to be more like that, boys? Did it used to be more about a club DNA rather than a manager's DNA?
The frustration for me on this DNA chat does me in, because I'm like, for me, the best managers, best coaches have to be adaptable to the situations they're in, right? Like this DNA thing, like I've heard, you hear it at West Ham about, you know, you have to have flair players or Tottenham, you know, it's all about, you know, the beautiful football. And no, it's about what you've got in the dressing room at this precise moment. You look at the team, and I think the best managers look at that team and go, right, this might not be necessarily the way that I believe, you know, is my ideal philosophy, but I look at the players and I think like that this is better. I think there was an issue with Ange Postecoglou at Nottingham Forest, right? I just think they were so good at what they did last year, and most of what they did was they were banked up. And the two outlets were Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi. And the minute they broke with tremendous pace. They had Wood, who was on fire as well. Morgan Gibbs-White was backing it up with his pace. And then all of a sudden, like, you go to a kind of wing-back system. You got three, you know, in central midfield. Gibbs-White kind of behind the lone striker, but the width is coming from the fullbacks. But if they're getting pegged back by a winger, you know, then there's no real width. There's no ability to get out, and that's the reason why I think it was one goal in 5 Premier League matches under Ange Postecoglou, and it was because they got so far away from what they were doing. I think if I'm a manager, and listen, there's far better managers than me, but I just think of the best managers I've worked for. They go into and they just go, what have I got? Harry Redknapp, for me, like, yeah, he might not be maybe as tactical as someone like as a Guardiola or a Rafa Benitez, but he goes in there and he goes, right, what have I got to work with? I think he could manage in the Conference South, or he could manage a Champions League team. He genuinely could, because he just adapt to exactly what he's got. He's not going to play the same football at Dagenham and Redbridge as he's going to play at Spurs in the Champions League. But I think you get the maximum out of those teams by just being pragmatic enough and kind of honest and humble enough to go, these players can't do that. They need to do this. And I think there's so much to be said for that. And it's all coming in with this philosophy. It's like, it does frustrate me, because I'm like, yeah, we all want to play that way. You know, we do, right? But there's players in the conference now, you know, they want to play like Guardiola. But they look around the dressing room and go, fuck it, there's no chance, no way we could do that. And they've got to work, they ain't got a budget to bring players in. So you've got to work with what you've got. And that, for me, is a good manager.
Yeah. But the mad thing is, right, and then like Crouchy, we would have experienced this. Like you go into an old Sam Allardyce Bolton, right, where you know straight away, okay, and we've all heard the terms, you got to earn the right to play, Them teams, right, like a Bolton or a Stoke, even before you went to Stoke, they were just going to get the ball at the back, they was going to go long and direct with a bit of quality up to Kevin Davis, he was going to flick it on or hold it, he had people like Kevin Nolan in and around him, and they wore teams down. You know, they was like, you know, they was, can they get a goal? Can they get a second? Like if they go 2-0 up, you see the opposition's shoulders sort of like just go, oh, we're done for. Then they start getting the ball down and they start playing. And like we had that at Stoke. We had obviously had good footballing players as well, Crouchy. But at the start, I remember John Walters saying that at a kickoff once, put it straight on that fullback. I want it to go as high as you can from the kickoff, and because I'm going to come and I'm going to absolutely steam and put one right on him to let him know that he's in for 90 minutes today. Do you remember that? Do you remember that was the philosophy? Yeah. Like that's what it's all about. And then it all went very much the same, and everyone weren't enjoying the football. And whereas now it's come back a bit, everyone's like, "God, this is different." I think everyone's loving it.
Yeah, the amount of grief that I think Sam Allardyce has got over the years. Like a lot of his stuff was very progressive. He was ahead of his time on all the stats. I think it was the first to wear the kind of GPS units, the tracking units. He was obviously very much on the position of maximum opportunity, getting the ball into the box, long throws. But he built around that structure. You knew you had like two. I remember at the time I played against Zat Knight and Gary Cahill. Right, two animals. Hated playing against them. Absolutely hated them. They had two fullbacks, horrible, and then you'd have kind of one dog in midfield, but you'd still have JJ Okocha, you might have Djorkaeff, these little like flair players. I remember there's a little Greek fella, I can't remember his surname now, but a little Greek fellow was a flying machine on the wing. You had players in and around it, like you say, Kev Nolan picking up the scraps, and Kevin Davis was probably the most underrated player in the Premier League era. Genuinely, I know he got recognised with an England cap at the end. Probably wasn't quite that level, but he was. If you speak to Rio or speak to any centre halves, right, playing against Kevin Davis, it'd be the same. You'd get the same kind of problem as you would if you faced Aguero. Because he'd just be, he's not going to score anywhere near as good as many goals as Aguero. He's not going to get as many plaudits. He doesn't do as much of the nice stuff. But fucking hell, ask the centre halves, like it'd be just as hard because it's just 90 minutes non-stop, and you can't switch off for a minute. He was an animal, Kevin Davis.
Was he allowed to be an animal because there wasn't an over-analysis on his role or the data points from it? Do you think players have lost the freedom to be able to just play without any limits?
Well, I do worry. Like a lot of the players now do worry about their stats. You see them. They're kind of worried about the stats on FIFA. They're worried about the stats assist-wise, about tracking back, running, tackles. There's a thirst for it. The players want it, which is a good thing, of course. But there are certain players that kind of play without stats, aren't they? I think, Luka Modric is probably the most famous for it. He's not going to score you 25 goals a season. He's not going to get you 25 assists a season, but what he will do is conduct the play. He'll manoeuvre a game and make sure that he's bossing the game and he's a very valued player.
But I don't know if it's over romanticising the issue, but when you talk about Wimbledon, those sort of times, like there is something amazing about how you could go out and like target a player, absolutely destroy them. Obviously no VAR, but also just maybe the game has adapted now to a different, I don't know, a different personality, I guess, because players aren't able to go and do that sort of thing anymore. There isn't just accountability and stats. There's cameras everywhere.
I think the obviously we're kind of going almost pro long ball now, but I genuinely, that's not how I feel at all. Like watching someone pass out from the back is actually nothing better. If you ever see the goalkeeper, like you sucker, the defenders on, the wingers on, and if you've got the ability and the confidence to pop it out to the left back who pops it into a deep line midfielder, you've taken 2 or 3 players out of a pitch, play it into a front man, set it back, get it out wide, play little triangles, get out of holes and get out of gaps and manoeuvre players into positions they don't want to go in, so you basically create the overload where you've got 3 players against 2 in a certain area. That is the philosophy of passing, good fast passing football, and I totally get that, but you've got to have the players to do that, and not everyone has.
So even the evolution of like centre halves, like back in the day, you'd have a few like that could probably get the ball out and that was comfortable enough to dribble out and like weave their way in breaking lines. There was very much the old centre half as just head it, defend first, feed the fullbacks, feed the wingers. Whereas then you had like your Rios, Jonathan Woodgates, players like that. Then I think that's the same now. I think like everyone loves to see it. We're not saying that we want to see just going long direct. Everyone still wants to see a John Stones get on the ball and fucking like weave his way and can have a little mazy run and get on the end of stuff.
When I was a kid, like my dad was kind of ahead of the curve. I felt with like regards to my development as a player. I remember going to Brentford, and there was a guy there at the time, you might know him, Sid, Barry Quinn. He was, again, I thought, very, very forward thinking. And I used to train at Feltham on a Tuesday, Thursday night. And he was very much about all the players at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. It's a ball each. Everyone's a ball each. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was all ball manipulation, touch, control, skills, very, very little team games. And I felt that was very forward thinking, especially at a club like Brentford at that time. And it's not the Brentford we see now. This was Division 3 Brentford, Division 2 Brentford. And he was still doing that with the young kids. And I think, people like that and coaches like that deserve a tremendous amount of respect. That was Barry Quinn at Brentford. And then my dad got me into Corva, which was, Corva, Sids, right? And this was all the same thing. Obviously, it was a Dutch guy. I think it was Veal, Corva, and someone else. Might have been another English guy as well who started the whole concept. But I used to go on residential trips, and you'd have a tick list, right? A sheet, and you'd basically tick off all the skills that you nailed in that week, and they'd be like, they'd call them all players' names. So I always remember there was, just going back a bit, but there was a Lipbarski, there was a Van Basten, there was a Maradona. There was Cruyff. A Beckham and a Cruyff, obviously. Yeah, then there'd be like a Ronaldo or something. A Brazilian Ronaldo. It was stuff that we were learning, and basically you had to just learn. So I go, right, today's the Lipbarski. I always remember the Lipbarski. It was like a touch, like a feint, and then a push the other way. You had to do it on both feet. So it was a touch on the top of the ball, to the side, outside that foot, touch on. That way and then that way. So you just keep doing it non-stop until you got it. Like you keep doing this like manoeuvre with your feet all the time. And then by the end, the coach goes, right, you've got the Lipbarski down. And I'd just go home and you'd be so proud of just ticking your little box.
That's
Lipbarski
so
done, right? Honestly. And then there'd be like the Van Basten. And the Van Basten was basically a step over. But you'd have to do it both ways, right? So I'd do a step over like that, then I'd do a step over like that. And I'd just consistently do it, and we'd be doing it for, this is what we're working on. There's a group of 15 lads all doing step overs until the coach finally goes, do you know what? You've got that. And then in the games, you take it into the games, and you'd get like bonus points, right? So if I use a Lipbarski in a game situation, or I use a Van Basten in a game situation, you get extra points. So you'd get like some sort of, you get a Mars bar from the tuck shop or something like that. You'd get a reward for using it, taking what you've learned and putting it into the game. And I think it's so incredible, like how beneficial that is to young players. And if anyone's kind of listening to this now, like that for me made me the player I was. Like I was tall, but I had the ability to do things that maybe other tall players couldn't do, and that just came from my grounding from those kind of courses and Barry Quinn at Brentford.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Right. I remember going on a summer holiday football course. And they did a similar thing with, we were doing, it was a whole session. I'm saying it was an hour of doing the Michael Owen, where you would not sell Dubai. I mean, like you do that little Argentina, move it to the right and then other corner. And you would just that little movement to the right. And we did it over and over again. I think this idea of ticking off certain players is just such a brilliant homework that we should be giving people on this podcast. I think, Crouchy, you should film it on holiday or in your garden or whatever it is, and then everyone on the pod spends a week just nailing the one name that you say. I think this is such a good way of doing football, and it's so fun.
That's what I mean. I just think like now, if you're like, certainly if you're even a dad as well, like just being able to do that and make it fun, but just consistently have a ball at your feet. Like that's certainly what I did as a kid. And I'd be like, I'd always have a little ball, always, all times. And I'd have this Corva kind of method in my head at all times. So I might be dribbling around the kitchen, and you see a chair, and you just do a quick Van Basten. You'll do the little basket, I do a little Cruyff, and then I pull out of it. I remember there's another one. I'm trying to think what who the player was, but it was basically like a drag back. But it was a drag back to the right, drag back to the left, drag back to the right, drag back to the left. You do 10, 15 minutes of that every single day around the kitchen. That it helps. It helps. And you've got it in your head.
We've got to make this happen. You're so right, and you can do this to your missus. Anyone can be a defender, can't it? Your flatmate, whatever it is. This is so good. What do we need, Crouchy, from a practical point of view here? What can I go away and try? So, do we need mini Peter Crouch footballs or something like for around the house? You know, the soft ones, or what do we need here?
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually try and set this up. I think I'm going to go and speak to some of the guys at Corva. I know they still do it. And I think, that was something so amazingly beneficial for me. And we could kind of adapt something and make it, a bit more for the podcast as well. We can get it out there, and we might even get our first international. We never know, off the back of the podcast, from learning these moves.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Brilliant.
The thing about this, Chris, like obviously the state of the game, obviously I'm passionate about. I've always loved football, but like that development thing, I can't stress how much that kind of means to me. Like how beneficial it was for me. I wouldn't be the player I was, so you kind of want to get it out there and just go, try and listen to that and try and it's all about just consistently having a ball around you, and then all the other attributes, like physical attributes, the tactical elements, they all come in later. You don't need them. You don't need them till you're 14. I know that the game's evolved and players are playing a lot more kind of games football now, but I just think having a ball on your own at all times and doing these things is just so beneficial.
But yeah, I love the visualization of it. When you're saying that about having a ball indoors, just a little mini ball. Imagine that just at breakfast time or dinner time in your own household. If you've got siblings and you've got like your mum or your dad or whoever's doing the dinner, and they're taking one bit to the table, and you just popping around just like with a ball, just little drag backs here and there, left foot, right foot, go around the table.
I think this is what we do. I think this is our Hello Fresh. I think what we do is we offer the opportunity where you pay a $5 or something like that. We send out a little Peter Crouch podcast football that you use around the house. We upload a different skill every week to whatever we need, an OnlyFans or something, and then you go away and practice that, and then come back to it. It could be great.
I like it a lot. I like that a lot. I'll pop out in the garden, just film it, and then we just upload it, and that'll be skill of the week.
Skill of the week.
Peter Crouch's soccer school.
Come on, it's on. We've got to send out some little footballs though, or allow people to chip in a bit for. I think then we could do it all. Also, what you've blown my mind here, and it's such an obvious thing, but I've never really thought about it. Is we did those things whenever you did the football summer schools, and you would imitate your favourite player, and those famous sort of bits of skill when you'd practice them. I've never really thought about actual footballers doing that as well. I've never thought about the idea that when you are scoring a goal or when you're playing, you're imagining or using those little moments that that we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that it still happens at a professional level. Like Sid to tell you, like when we saw Cristiano Ronaldo score that goal against Portsmouth, the free kick where it was like the up and down, the dip, like the strike of the valve or whatever it is. Everyone in professional football was trying that the next day. You know what I mean? Like I remember seeing Brazilian Ronaldo do the flip flap. And I think that was the first time I'd ever seen it. I might have seen Ronaldinho do it, but original Ronaldo was the best at it. It was just a little flip-flap. I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, I think I was playing in the youth team at the time, or might have been at Portsmouth. I'd trying that the next day. Like, you're never old enough, are you? You're never too old to learn these things. I've seen some stuff recently that has blown my mind on Instagram. Abby showed it to me last night and I was trying to recreate
it. Do you know what? It's a real powerful tool, right? Because I was doing it for any of our listeners that are coaches, okay, any standard, old or young. If you can get them visualizing. So I done this when I was coaching at Brighton with the youngsters. Like we was doing a passing session once, okay, and it was long passing, long range passing. And I was saying, right, how would Steven Gerrard do his pass from A to B? And would it be a lace? Would it be like a drilled across? Yeah, it would. How would Ryan Giggs do it? It'd be more of a cultured sort of floated curve left foot. And you can get them like visualizing how these players who they know, would do it, and then they take it on themselves rather than just going right here. I want to get the ball and try and lace one down. Do you know what I mean? Rather than them seeing it. It's so powerful.
Visualizing the player. But have you done that? Have you boys done that with the actual player? Like you speak of Gerrard, like it's mad that you boys actually were playing with and had access to like free kick practice with Beckham.
Definitely. Like with Becks, I definitely asked him a few times, like because I noticed that he was kind of like leaning right on his left foot, like almost like he was leaning on the right side of his foot, like so much. It's like he's almost fell over. And I was like, is that a conscious thing? And he said that's something that's just developed over time. Like he's because he needs to get that much whip on it. His whole body is almost falling over. Like it falls to one side. All the weight's kind of on the left foot. To get that kind of whip on it. And the same with Gerrard. I remember Gerrard and Alonso, we used to do that, the bog standard one where you pass it into your mate, he sets it and you fizz one out wide and then you both get in the box, right? That, I mean, people do that Sunday League, right? We used to do it every day in training. But I watch, if Xabi and Stevie were partners, and Sids will know this, because he could do it, the daisy cutter, like the worm burner. Right, so the ball's fizzed in, and Alonso he's just slapping them out there. I think there's a video of him actually. Is it Bayer Leverkusen? Bayer Leverkusen training. Well, I was seeing that firsthand in his prime, and watching him and Gerrard hitting these fucking daisy cutters out to the wingers. But when I'm saying that pinging, like that winger. And I always remember that, say we got Pennant on one side, might be Steve Finnan, might be John Arnorisa and Harry Kuehl on the other, right? They're slapping these balls out to them, and if the control's not there, they're getting a death stare from the two midfielders, like the little death stare, and if like, the fuck are we working with? And honestly, then you'd have a little touch and then you go and finish. But yeah, just asking them about even the technique of the strike, like where they were hitting it, because quite often, like, I could strike it, get it out there, but sometimes it'd lift up just above the knee. I'm talking about that one, Sid, you were very good at it, to be fair. That one that you fizz out just below the knee.
Yeah, bring back the daisy cutter. Bring back the fizz.
But you're saying it's conceivable there was a point when you were playing with Gerrard where you were pretending to be Gerrard.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I might do that when I'm playing in the reserves on Wednesday night, and me and Darren Potter and Neil Merrill are doing the same thing, just pretending to be Stevie.
I've really enjoyed today. It's very good.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
I've enjoyed it. I've got myself on the beers, lads.
You're ready to cock off. Look, Crouchy's ready. He's on holiday mode. Go on, enjoy it.
All right, lads. Yeah, I did enjoy that. I felt like I got a lot off my chest there.
All we need now is just to bring back the two strikers, and we're done.
And listen, let's be honest. There is a place for get it in the fucking mixer. Let's not get away from that. Obviously, it's nice to be technical. It's nice to be a passing team, but there is a time and a place for get it in the fucking mixer. So let's see what they're about.
Coach Crouch, here we come.
Well, this is it. That's now launched. That's a thing. Amazing.
Adaptable.
Well, I really enjoyed that pod, lads. I got quite passionate about it. I do feel quite passionate about that kind of, definitely the younger player development, because it's just helped me so much. So I always get a little bit, don't know, into it, because it did help me, a great deal. And especially when we're talking about the kind of the more direct passes, long balls, throw-ins and that, when you watch the weekend we've just watched there, what was it? Spurs had 3-headed goals, set pieces, Brentford scoring from a long throw-in. It was still very much evident, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it was great insight, mate. Obviously, I've known you for a long, long time, but just on that skills one, the stuff that you was doing was superb. And I think on the whole as well, football doesn't change. It just goes round in circles, doesn't it? It just goes round in phases and fads. And when corners were a massive thing years and years ago and long balls, then it went a different way and now it's gone back. So, yeah, I think football just always evolves and it's entertaining. I'm all for it. I love it.
But then I guess what you're also saying, Crouchy, is you're basically saying a long throw will always be valuable in this game, but its value probably increases at certain points. In which case, if you are a kid listening to this right now, get working on your long throw. I want to go out into the park near my house here and see kids just practicing long throws over and over.
Do you know when I was thinking about it? When when the kicker comes on the NFL, you don't potentially get this fella with massive arms just to come on the pitch, just the 12th man, just to come on in a tracksuit and just fucking launch one into the box, and then he just goes back and sits back down on the bench again. That's where we need to get to, I think. All right, should we do some messages?
Let's do it.
This is from Charlie on Insta. He says, for the next pod, hi mate, going back on your discussion about the What 3 Words app, quite interesting to see that What 3 Words location of Back Stronger podcast actually exists in Ukraine. There is also a location in Australia with the location Swell Crouch Stark.
No way.
God. Very apt for this podcast. Need to do some work now. Regards to your family. That's a location in Canada too. Regards, yours and family.
There you go. So you see, boys, I got you onto this What 3 Words, or I think it's called that. But the fact that any location in the world can get pinpointed with 3 words. And now we've got people typing in podcast words. Brilliant, brilliant idea. It also potentially is another reason for us to do a road trip. We could put in some of these different terms and travel to the places where they are.
This one in Australia, if you do live near Swell Crouch Stark, we'd love a picture. And again, this one in Canada, if you put it in, if you live in Canada, could you put in regards, yours and family? And if you lived there, could you take a picture of where you are? I'd love to see these. I really would.
Great shout.
Brilliant.
Crouchy, Bonfire Spuds and One Ball Paul. On the topic of throwing things on the latest pod, great story from a few years back. Me and 2 friends were just finishing off a night out in Cardiff around 2015, and we had just got some food and we were walking to the taxi rank when we bumped into Craig Bellamy, just getting in a taxi. Me being a Liverpool fan, I stopped him and I asked for a photo. He obliged. Me and my friends couldn't decide who was getting their phones out to take the photo. Bellamy was getting annoyed as he had a bird waiting in a taxi for him. My friend Charlie, the one who didn't care about getting a photo, pulled his phone out. Craig Bellamy took the phone out of his hand and we thought, oh great, he's going to take a selfie. Not quite. He took the phone and he threw it behind his head, miles in the air, and it came crashing down on the pavement. He got in the cab and he drove off. Me and my other friend Elliot were in tears. Bellamy went up in my estimations that night. What a legend.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Does that sound true?
Oh, it does. It does sound very true.
It sounds like a Bella's thing.
I've got an amazing taxi story involving Craig Bellamy as well. But I'll tell you another time.
Oh, no.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't.
Actually, none of it was Craig Bellamy's fault. That's a disclaimer. It was actually my mate who caused the problem. But Craig Bellamy was there and saw it unfolded in front of him. Very funny it was.
Craig Bellamy needs to be on this podcast before too long. He's had far too many mentions.
I like Bellas a lot, I have to say.
Yeah.
And that does sound like something that could have happened.
100%. And send us your interactions with footballers as well, because they're always funny to hear. The idea that he's got impatient and just launched a phone in the air, and better still, the lads love him more for it, is just a wonderful situation all round.
Phenomenal, that really is. Okay, one from Sam here. He said, I hope you're well, one Paul. I'm watching the episode today, and I've searched your guy's name. The name Tancock has historical roots in England. Remember Tancock? We were discussing this.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were saying, how does this name come about? You know, Sidwell would have been born out of, you know, two phrases or a local town or something like that. There's a reason behind the name of places and people. And we did throw it out there, didn't we? We said if anyone can actually give us, because I think, made up our own stories about how he's ended up with the name Tancock. But it sounds to me you're about to give the proper reason.
Yeah, well, his historical roots are in England, particularly south-western regions such as Cornwall and Devon. It's believed to be a patronymic surname derived from the medieval given name Tank. Patronymic, obviously meaning coming from your father. Something that's sprung to my mind, even though Ross just Googled it 1 second ago, which itself may have originated from the old French name Tancredi, meaning thoughtful counsel. See if Tancock can get you some points regards to your families.
Oh, that's really interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so nothing to do with some sort of, I don't know, sunburnt penis.
History. It's not. You know,
no.
I just assumed it was someone who had a kind of different shade of penis to the rest of his body.
Well, I just thought it was someone that liked sunbathing naked, maybe as well.
We have another. There's a counter Tancock here, meaning this says morning one dangler, regards to the family and a little history on Tancock. I believe it derives from Scotland, where Scottish fighters would lift up their kilts and flash the English before battle.
I'm going to go with that one.
It's a very different story then.
I'm going to go with that one.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
I'd like it to involve the cock in some way.
Good. I think that's enough podcast for one day, is it?
I think we should finish on that. Chris, it's been a delight seeing you in all those positions. I haven't seen some of those positions in years, so that's been really...
I will be back stronger for the next episode. Like, bless him. I'll have Martin here. He's got a bit to do, but it's not his fault. And apologies to the guys making this podcast. They were like, oh yeah, if you can just set your laptop up somewhere that looks good, you know, sort of in the background, so that it sort of engages people a bit more. But I don't know. I think we've done our bit.
I think we have. I think it's really engaging. Just a quick one before we finish, Chris. Obviously, the reason you couldn't get in that room is because you were doing it up. I noticed on the last podcast, what I didn't notice actually when we were recording, you had all the different colours by the light switch of which colour you were going to go for, and we were inundated with messages to find out which colour you went for. So
I don't know. Truth be told, I don't know. I'll have to ask my wife. So I'll ask my wife and let you know.
Please do, Chris, because actually, if you wouldn't mind, if she hasn't decided, we could actually put 3 colours that you put down and put it in perhaps an Instagram post and let the nation of this podcast decide the colour that room's going to be.
I love this idea because it's creative, and also I think would therefore make the room tax deductible. Because it's talked about on the podcast, which would be,
yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Truth be told, I don't know what to do here. I'm all up for the paint situation going to the podcast, but I don't know if I trust the audience of this podcast enough to be given colour advice to this room. Before I know it, my room will be Tancock. A lovely shade of Tancock. And I'll have to explain that to my missus. You know, it's tricky.
I just think there's so much good can come out of this because there might not even be a Tancock colour out there. And if you are Crown Paints or, you know, someone who wants to get in touch with us.
Farrow and Ball, yeah.
Farrow and Ball. Farrow and Womble. Farrow and Womble.
Farrow and Womble. It's got to happen. Please, we need a paint company immediately to allow us to make some paints. It'd be great.
Fantastic. I just think we just have one colour, Tancock, and that can be your room. Be the first of its kind.
Oh, mate. But, okay, I'm going to throw this back. Rather than, okay, that's a deal. If we can come up with a paint for this podcast, and it's a Tancock or some other podcast thing that we can think of, and one of the big guns will genuinely stock it and make it available to the point where anyone who listens to this podcast can paint their room Tancock or whatever it is. I'm in, but I think it needs to be an all or nothing. Sid's has got a new gaff as well; he can get involved.
Yeah. I just think we could we could create our own colour. Our own colour scheme, our own paint, and if Tancock is a problem for Farrow and Womble, maybe Tank or something like that. Tank, we all know what it means. It's all good. It's all good. But
really good. So we need a paint supplier.
Paint suppliers, please get in touch.
Get a Tancock and spray out the wall.
Great.
Oh, I've just done that thing again. Look, the thumbs up. Look.
I know.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Why won't it work for me though? This is a new computer.
How about this one? Does it come up if you do?
Hey!